we are, explanation of Hydra Bob. If you are wondering what was part 1, well, that was the explanation of Gwenpool, but don't worry because you will get the link into the video further along the way. So, Hydra Bob, it is a little bit of a weird card, but still it has some nice opportunities, so I would like to show it to you, so let's get on with it. Hydra Bob. 1 cost, 4 power, right there. That's not bad for a 1 cost card though, and yet I still read plenty of people think this card is going to be rubbish. Well, is it going to be worth it to spend your tokens on? Is it going to be good to lose your keys to? Well, that is for you to figure out after this video. But I can tell you already, this card has plenty of opportunities. But I can see where this is coming from, because if you look at the mechanics, after each turn, this move if a player has snapped. So let's get this straight. You need to be snapping to get this mechanics of the card working, and what it will be doing, it will just jump around the board the whole game long, and that's it. But I can think only 1 card that really needs to jump around, that would be Craven. If you put down Hydra on turn 1, Craven on turn 2, and you will be snapping on turn 2, and if Hydra Bob jumps around the board at the right locations, well, that could buff up Craven 6 points right there, and that is going to be for a 1/4 to a 1/10. That's not bad for a 1 card though. But there are plenty other choices to go on, but we will go into that further along the way. I have put a very strong deck with this card, you would be amazed. But as we all know, every card has its pros, every card has its cons, and like I always do, let's dive into the cons, the pros. Let's dive into the pros first. The first one I can think of that I already told you is going to be 1/4. It's not bad to start with. Of course, we could use this as a starter, but we could also use this as a finisher just to fill up the board. If you use this as a finisher, I mean, if you, for example, in a zoo deck, or if you would have Gwenpool in your hands, and this would be buffing Hydra not 1, not 2, but even 3 times, but like remember, it is getting random, and it could buff the same card over and over and over again. So that could leave you with a 1/10 that you could lay down on turn 6. Could win you the game, right? That's pretty strong. Now, other than that, of course, this card, like I told you, has nice varieties, because this still fits into many decks. We will go talk about that a little bit further, but anyhow, what it could do, it could pump up life again into moving decks, because lately those moving decks, they didn't perform that well anymore, but now this could be the change that they needed. And most likely you haven't thought about that one, but as it is a moving deck, a moving card, excuse me, well, you could push him into Professor X location at the last turn as well. Think about opportunities right there. I just gave you a couple already. But as we know, we got the pros, and sadly, but maybe some good thing to go for, we also need to talk about the cons. Let's go for it. Of course, it's going to be important to talk about the cons, especially into this game, to see if it's going to be worthy to spend your tokens or keys to buy this next card. So the cons. We all know we have to snap to use its mechanics, and there is where it gets a little bit funky, because we all know on turn 3 or turn 4 if we are going to be winning or losing the game, and on turn 2 or 3 what deck your opponent is about to play. So is it going to be worthy to use your keys or tokens onto this card? I would say no. Save them, especially if you don't have many of them, because there are stronger cards along the way. It's kind of disappointing after the change, because it used to be a 1/5 and that would have been a very great card. Especially in some decks. I already figured out some decks, but I had to change many things for that. I think they thought it would be too strong. I just don't know why they changed it. But it messes things around, and that is why also people think this card is going to be rubbish. Anyway, so don't worry if you can't get him, because it is really not that great. It's actually more or less like a martyr. Only difference is like martyr moves herself to a location that would lose you the game, and on this one you have to be snapping to let it move around. Now let's go into a more interesting part, and that would be the senergie cards. I love to talk about this part, because here it gets interesting. So let's talk about senergie cards. The first one that I got in mind would be Craven, of course. We all know the mechanics of Craven. When a card moves here, this card gains +2 power. And there is where Hydra Bob gets into play. Lay down Hydra on turn 1, on a different location on turn 2 Craven, snap, and hopefully on turn 3 Hydra Bob jumps into Craven, and hopefully plenty more times during the game, which boosts up Craven significantly. The next one that I got in mind would be Angela. Angela has the ability, after you play a card here, she gains 1 power. So, Angela on turn 2, Hydra on turn 3, snap, he will move out of the way and you could boost Angela extra times. The next card that I got in mind would be Hulkbuster. We all know Hulkbuster has an on-reveal ability. Merge this with one of your cards at this location. So try to lay down Hydra on an empty location, then you boost him up with Hulkbuster, snap, and you have a 1/7 that moves around the board, which would be pretty strong. The next one that I got in mind would be Elsa Bloodstone. We all know her ability. Each card you play to fill your side of a location, it gains +2 power. So fill up a location with Hydra, turns into a 1/6, snap, and you would be able to boost up other cards, just the same, more or less like Jeff and Vision. And the last but not the least, we have Venom. We all know he also has an on-reveal ability. He destroys your other cards here, and he adds the power to this card. So Hydra is just right there in the destroy deck to boost up Venom. So we have talked about the senergie cards, so let's put them together and let's talk about the decks. And here it is, the best part. The best for last, right? And when I say to you the best for last, wait until you're going to be seeing the last deck that I got prepared for you. That is going to be something else. But first, of course, we are going to talk about the other decks, so let's talk about the Hydra Bob decks. The first one that I got in mind, it's pretty, well, you would think of it already, it's going to be a move deck. Of course, a move deck with Nightcrawler, Hydra Bob, Craven, Cloak, Juggernaut, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Stegron, Captain Marvel, Vision, Arrow, and Magneto. So you should be able to boost Craven significantly along the way, and you could have a choice at the end of the game to play Vision with Miles Morales, or Arrow with Miles Morales, or maybe just Magneto. Depends in what kind of situation you are. but plenty choices to go from. The next one that I got in mind would be a straightforward destroy deck. Of course, with Deadpool, X-23, Hydra Bob, Carnage, Wolverine, Hulkbuster, Killmonger, Venom, Deadlock, Arnim Zola, Knull, and Death. It's a straightforward deck, like I just said to you. Hydra Bob is only here to boost up your Venom and Knull along the way, but very strong, as you know already. The next deck that I got in mind would be a Zoo deck with, of course, Sunspot, Ant-Man, Squirrel Girl, Hydra Bob, Marder, Angela, Shanna, Sierra, Khazar, Blue Marvel, Onslaught, and Ultron. You could even change up or swap out Ultron with Gilgamesh. It is your own choice and what would lie the best for you. Anyways, we do have Sierra to defense all those 1-cost cards, and we have Shanna to fill up all the locations together with Squirrel Girl. And why? So Martyr doesn't have any location to move out for the last turn. The next deck that I got in mind is the deck that I am so excited about. This is the one I can't wait to let you see. So let's dive into this one. It's going to be Cerebro 4. Cerebro 4 with Hydra Bob, Cloak, Colin Wynn, Mysterio, Angela, Cerebro and Mystique, Sierra, Hope Summers, Makari, Moon Girl, and Sarah. Of course, we got Hydra Bob, what we could double up with Moon Girl somewhere along the way, you never know. We do have Cloak to let the opponent think that we are playing a move deck. We do have Colin Wing. Maybe the opponent will think, what is he playing? I am playing against a bot. Then we have Mysterio. We got Angela. Of course, Angela, you can only play Angela as a third card on the location, so it turns into a 4 power card, I mean. So you could boost him also up, boost her also up. Then we have Sierra to defense Hydra Bob. We got Hope Summers to get some extra energy. Makari, maybe doubling up Makari, and you have 2 Makaris on the board. Sarah for everything to cost 1 less. So plenty options to go for, but if you are able to fill up 2 locations and you are able to use Cerebro with Mystique, that could be 32 powers on 2 locations, which is going to be very strong. Other than that, we have put nice decks together. You can try it out. Like I said, altogether Hydra Bob has some variety. You can play it in many different decks, so now it is only up to you to try it out. The only thing that is left for me is to say happy snapping and to the next one.